From legend to immortal, Ronaldo's 2026 World Cup story is unfinished. Cristiano Ronaldo's name already lives in football eternity, yet the story refuses to end quietly. And that is what makes the road to the 2026 World Cup feel different, heavier, more emotional, and almost cinematic. Because this is no longer just about goals, trophies, or records. It is about legacy, about defying time, about a man who has spent more than 2 decades proving that limits are often imaginary, and that belief, when mixed with obsession, can stretch a career far beyond what logic allows. When Ronaldo first appeared on the global stage, few could have predicted that he would still be a central figure in world football in his 40s, still talked about as a potential difference maker, still capable of dominating headlines and dividing opinions. And yet, here we are, with the football world split between those who believe 2026 will be a farewell tour and those who sense something deeper, something unfinished. Because Ronaldo has never followed the script written for him. He has torn it apart again and again. From leaving Sporting Lisbon as a teenager to conquering England, Spain, and Italy, from transforming his body to suit different phases of his career, from evolving his game from explosive winger to ruthless goal machine to veteran leader, every chapter has been built on adaptation and relentless self-belief. And that is why the question surrounding the 2026 World Cup is not whether Ronaldo will be there, but what version of Ronaldo will arrive on the biggest stage one last time. The World Cup has always been the one crown that sits awkwardly in Ronaldo's collection, not because he failed, but because it never aligned perfectly with his peak moments. Portugal were not giants when he began, they grew alongside him, and by the time they were contenders, his body was already carrying the miles of 1,000 battles. Yet even then, he dragged them to heights they had never reached before. Semifinals, unforgettable performances, iconic goals, and finally international glory at Euro 2016 and the Nations League, which proved that he could lift a team emotionally even when physically limited. But the World Cup remained elusive, always close but never complete, and that lingering absence fuels the narrative that his story is not yet done, because immortality in football is not just about being great, it is about completing the arc, and the 2026 World Cup offers one final chance to do exactly that. By then, Ronaldo will be older, slower, and undeniably closer to the end. But football history has shown us that greatness does not always fade quietly. Sometimes it burns brighter for one final moment, and Ronaldo has always been a master of timing, a man who rises when doubt is loudest. The skeptics already speak of age, decline, and new generations, and they are not wrong. The sport has moved on, the pace is faster, the pressing is relentless, the stars are younger and fresher. But what they often overlook is that Ronaldo has survived multiple generations already. He has outlasted rivals, systems, managers, and eras. He has reinvented himself to stay relevant, turning physical preparation into an art form and discipline into a weapon. And while he may no longer sprint past defenders for 90 minutes, he has sharpened his instincts, his positioning, his understanding of space and moments. And tournaments are built on moments, not marathons. One header, one penalty, one tap-in, one emotional rallying cry can define a World Cup, and no player in history understands moments like Cristiano Ronaldo. Leadership will be the true test in 2026, because the burden will not be on his legs alone. It will be on his presence, his aura, his ability to lift a squad that may include players who grew up idolizing him. Imagine stepping onto a World Cup pitch, knowing that the man beside you has lived every pressure imaginable, that he has scored in finals, survived criticism, and returned stronger every time. That belief is contagious, and belief is priceless in knockout football. Portugal's squad is likely to be balanced between youth and experience, technical midfielders, dynamic attackers, disciplined defenders. And in that mix, Ronaldo becomes something different, less of a lone hero, and more of a symbol, a reference point, a standard setter. And when pressure rises and legs shake, it is often the calm of the veteran that steadies the ship. Critics will point to recent tournaments, moments where Ronaldo appeared frustrated, isolated, or limited, and those images linger, but they ignore context, they ignore tactical decisions, squad balance, and the simple truth that football is a collective sport, and no player, no matter how great, can carry everything forever. Yet even in those moments, Ronaldo still drew defenders, still commanded attention, still created space for others, and that impact does not disappear with age, it evolves. The 2026 World Cup, with its expanded format and longer tournament structure, could actually favor experience. More matches, more rotations, more tactical flexibility, more need for leadership and mental strength. And if managed correctly, Ronaldo does not need to play every minute to leave his mark. He needs to be decisive when it matters. And history suggests that when the stakes are highest, he finds a way. The idea of immortality in football is strange because memories are fragile, opinions change, and legacies are constantly redebated. Yet certain figures transcend debate: Pelé, Maradona, Messi, and Ronaldo. And what separates immortals from legends is not perfection, but resonance, the feeling that their story mattered beyond statistics, that they represented something bigger than the game. Ronaldo has always represented defiance, ambition, and the refusal to accept limits, and a final World Cup run where he embraces a new role, where he sacrifices ego for impact, where he delivers one last iconic moment could elevate that resonance even further. Imagine a late goal, a decisive assist, a penalty in a knockout match, a celebration not of dominance, but of relief and completion. That image would live forever, not because it proves he was the best, but because it shows that the journey was worth it. And that is why the 2026 World Cup feels unfinished, because Ronaldo has never been about fading away. He has always chased the next challenge, the next doubt, the next mountain. And even now, when the world expects decline, he speaks and trains and prepares as if another miracle is possible. And football has a strange relationship with miracles. It resists them until suddenly it embraces them. And when it does, the stories become timeless. Whether Ronaldo lifts the trophy or not may ultimately matter less than how he approaches this final chapter. If he arrives not clinging to past glory, but forging new meaning, if he accepts that his best performance may not be measured in goals, but in moments of leadership, sacrifice, and inspiration, then his journey from legend to immortal will feel complete. Because immortality is not about refusing to age, it is about embracing it and still finding relevance, still shaping narratives, still inspiring belief. And the 2026 World Cup stands as the final canvas for Cristiano Ronaldo to paint whatever ending he chooses, an ending that could be dramatic, controversial, emotional, or quietly powerful, but never ordinary, because his story has never been ordinary. And until the final whistle blows on his international career, the story remains unfinished, and the world will watch not just to see if he can still perform, but to witness whether one of football's greatest ever competitors can turn time itself into just another opponent to overcome one last time.